Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Martin Halmarick, and I'm one of the managing partners at ECLEVA. ECLEVA is a business solutions company that is passionate about providing clients innovative ideas delivered simply. My team and I have worked in the further and higher education sectors for over 20 years. Education is a real personal passion of mine. With 4 children under the age of 17, I'm really looking forward to the day when they can fund their own iPads, phones, branded clothes, ballet point shoes, fidget spinners. So aligning education outcomes with employability is important to me too. Over the next 2 days, there's no doubt that the impact of government funding cuts and new efficiency criteria will be discussed at length, although I would argue that universities have been preparing for this since the Abbott government's first budget proposal in 2014. Today I'm going to speak about the importance of transforming commercial engagement for higher education institutes. I'll provide 5 examples of poor commercial engagement, best practice to help implement commercial engagement, and a roadmap to success. Commercial engagement is often referred to as an industry engagement or industry liaison, or a number of other terms within the HE sector. For today's presentation, I'm going to refer to commercial engagement. And the key tenet of commercial engagement is a symbiotic relationship where both the client and the provider are benefiting from the relationship, and in this case, probably the student too. Over the last 5 years, we've seen a significant increase in universities building more sophisticated branding, marketing, and student experience capabilities through great initiatives such as identifying the university's unique selling propositions, building out all the stages of the student life cycle, significant advertising via traditional and social mediums, automating student lead generation, conversion from inquiry to offer to enrolment, and investing significantly in new systems, staff, and even significant building programs. While most of the investment has been directed at increasing mainstream student enrolments, there is another market which, given the right focus and investment, could result in a multitude of benefits to the university. Before I discuss this, I'd like you to consider something. If you consider the total revenue and goodwill that a university generates in a year, what proportion would that be generated from commercial or industry partnerships? So any final guess as to what that number might be? Incredibly, it's 33%. 33% of a university's revenue is generated through commercial activities. This equates to $10 billion across all universities in Australia, which is almost the equivalent of the revenue of the 7 largest universities in Australia. But what's in this pool? The revenue included in this pool is consulting, scholarships, the management of international agents and associated institutes, and therefore the international students that come from that. Continuing professional development, scholarships, sponsorships, co-delivery or matriculation agreements, internships, placements or projects, research grants. The opportunity for universities to partner more strongly with the commercial sector, grow the revenue, and develop a link between education, employability, and productivity from this customer base is there for the taking. The share of the innovation economy. The innovation economy in Australia is made up of $26 to $30 billion per annum. This is almost the same as the total revenue from all universities in Australia. 45% of all companies in Australia have allocated a budget to innovation and research. Of those companies, they are 40% more likely to increase their profitability and employing of new staff during that period. The sad truth is that only 5% of those businesses choose to undertake research and R&D innovation work with universities. This is the lowest ranking of all OECD countries. If we're able to even increase 5% of the share of the innovation, it would equate to nearly $1.5 billion in increased funding. This doesn't include all of the other benefits that the university can leverage from the commercial partnership. $30 billion, again, is almost the same as the entire education institute and HE sector in Australia at the moment. Leveraging that partnership with the commercial sector to grow and link innovation for the benefits of employees, for productivity and students and the research institutes within universities is massive. So what are the key differences between students and commercial engagement? Often in a student involvement, you have a student that will be talking to experts on a one-on-one basis. Experts in admissions, enrollment, student fees, curriculum, career planning. But predominantly it's a one-to-one discussion. In addition, the time scale of those discussions occur at particular times during the year. At admissions time, enrollment times, at scholarships, fee times, at progression, at graduation, at career planning times. However, in industrial or in commercial engagement, there's a multitude of touch points from the university and the client, from the faculties, from the officers, from the people within, each of them contacting different people at different times for different outcomes and different solutions. And what's more, the timetable is often set by the commercial client, as into when they want to be working with the Institute and how they want to be seen to be providing a solution to both their employees and to their customers. So we're about to just go into a few case studies. One of the key case studies is that working over 20 years with 30 institutes in the sector, it's clear that the overall management framework of commercial engagement has not been fantastic. There's a potential of lost millions of dollars in lost revenue and partnerships through poor management. The interesting observation that many institutes do not even know they have an issue. It usually takes a single event that inevitably leads to someone investigating the cause for the problem to be discovered. Additionally, poor managed relationships are costing students necessary work experience and employability outcomes. As I talk through these 5 examples, I'd like to consider 3 things. Does this apply to my university? How would I feel if I was a commercial client? And how would I feel if I was a student caught in the middle? So the first example is scholarships. We were dealing with a client who had a strong arrangement with the New South Wales government who was undergoing an ambitious infrastructure program. The university has set an agreement of 2 $60,000 per annum scholarships for the Faculty of Engineering or engineering students on the provision that once they graduate, they would work in remote New South Wales for a few years. The original contract was put in place between 2 friends, one a university and one the state government employee. Both these individuals left their position. The assumption from the New South Wales government was that the university was advertising for these scholarships still. However, when they came in early in the year, around March, to see who had won the scholarships, the response was, "What scholarship?" Much to the disappointment of that department, they decided then to move that scholarship to a different university. Internships. We were working with the Faculty of Business at one particular university who had 20 ongoing internship placements with a bank. Unfortunately, the Faculty of Law also contacted the same bank, unbeknownst to the Faculty of Business. The bank had assumed that both faculties were in communication with one another and had therefore changed the awarding of the internships from the Faculty of Business to the Faculty of Law. A massive internal political upheaval ensued, along with disenfranchised students, and the bank was confused at how could you possibly not be communicating with one another in such a simple thing as internships. So the relationships were soured. Lots of frustrations were going on simply because there wasn't a clear communication plan between both faculties and the client. The next example we have is in research area. There was dealing with another university whereby a wealthy individual wanted to donate $300,000 worth of research grants towards the cancer research. Unfortunately, the person that would usually perform that role was on 3-month-long service leave. There was no one to capture the inquiry, and subsequently the wealthy individual, tried on numerous occasions during that 3-month period, lost confidence in the process and decided to invest that money in a hospital and associated research institute. The university lost a potential $300,000 with research grants during that process, simply because there wasn't a process in place to have a person on leave replaced and put into that position. Another example is that we were working with a client and they wanted to streamline the way that they engage with the consulting services delivered via their faculty and academic staff to companies throughout the organisation. What they discovered was that, or their gut instinct was that many invoices weren't being sent. The actuality was that over 70% of invoices weren't sent. We put in place a structured process of project delivery and invoicing schedules, And what it ensured was an improvement of $700,000 in invoices during that financial year. Each of the academic and the faculty outlined that they had done no more work. It was simply that those invoices were sent for work achieved during that period. The final example I have is on a matriculation agreement. A TAFE and a university had reached an agreement whereby if students undertaking a particular TAFE course would get credit on entrance enrolment to a bachelor degree within the university. Again, the key people involved in that process had not adequately documented the agreement. Those people moved on, and when the students from the TAFE came to the university with the expectation of credit, there was a disagreement that followed. The students were frustrated, raised the issue to the media, became a media item, and both universities and TAFEs became embroiled in a poor judgment on the university, and ultimately both institutes came to an agreement and the students were enrolled after much angst and discussion. So, as we transition over to the benefits, let's think about what we want to achieve and how we need to align the commercial engagement. It's very important that the role of commercial industry partnerships takes a more prominent view within the university environment. It has to be sat alongside the lead generation and student experience as an important component to the fundraising and environment that exists within the university. Important time and resources need to be invested to make sure that this particular function works well. The key benefits of a commercial engagement are more opportunities. These opportunities can result in increased funding, but probably more dynamically in increasing a better partnership and more diverse set of outcomes, from research, from internships to placements to scholarships to sponsorships to guest speaking, to a whole range of different areas where both the commercial and client is able to use the knowledge of the university for innovation and research for their own benefits. Subsequently, the university receives funding and development of that, and a long-term beneficial relationship is built between the commercial client and the university. An ongoing effect of that is that the university can help understand what are the skills needed by graduates from that client to be employed and providing more productivity on graduation. So ultimately, there is an alignment between the curriculum and the student employability that comes out of that process as well. So along with distinct commercial solutions from a commercial engagement, there are many advantages too on the student side of the equation. So as we look at all those benefits and the size of the market, how is it that we take what we've learned and help you transform your external engagement model? Three core areas that we're looking at is to validate, to learn, and to leverage. What we do is we look at spending time to develop a clear strategy, identify your teams, identify the value that exists within those teams, and determine your focus. We need to identify the skill sets needed for the commercial engagement. Recognize that these skills are unique and valuable skills. These skills the skills needed to determine and to win and to manage a scholarship are quite different to administering enrollments or admission to the university. Common processes, sets of business engagement, rules, etiquette, how we work with one another need to be put in place within the university to ensure a unified and cohesive way of working with commercial clients. The technology needs to be able to handle a global view of all activity against particular accounts and contacts, whilst providing the agility to meet particular products and services on a team-by-team basis. So best practice in practice. One of our clients' revenue was in decline through mainstream students and needed to find ways of increasing that. So how did we help them on that journey? We sat down with them over a 3-day period and defined the commercial engagement model, the people skills that would need to be implemented in those models, the processes needed to support those models, and the associated technology. We then identified a particular team that we wanted to focus on. What the first team was to be able to see, okay, let's look at that team. Let's look at the skills needed and let's get that right. It was about a rollout of about 8 to 15 people over about an 8 to 10 week period. After that period, we refined the process, refined the outcomes and the system, and we progressively rolled out team by team over a 12-18 month period to eventual outcome. This was the institute that saved $700,000 in lost revenue through uninvoiced work. In conclusion, there's significant opportunity within the marketplace to leverage and to be able to deliver upon the marketplace. The university sector is not fully leveraging that opportunity. Through implementing best practice and to be able to get the solution right and that focus, there's plenty of growth to be had, both in the forms of revenue, but also other forms of very valuable partnerships. So I challenge you to take action now and to realize the full benefits of commercial engagement. So both myself and Patrick Northcott, my business partner and CEO, will be here over the next few days. Please grab us if you have any questions, and we'd love to talk to you about commercial engagement and how we can help you on that journey. If you have any questions now, I'd love to field them and to be able to respond to them. Yes, can I help you?